Meet the majestic Swiss mountains, home to the world's most technical and historically rich climbing and outdoor culture. In this place, Caspar Tanner started a local rope factory in 1862. In the 160 years that followed, the Mammut brand became synonymous with world-leading mountaineering and outdoor products, allowing people all over the world to enjoy the mountains safely, enabling the fullest range of experiences in the most demanding conditions that deeply change you. On each adventure, we allow the world's leading professionals, extreme athletes, and everyday explorers to enjoy the mountains safely. We consistently bring the most innovative products, made to spend unforgettable moments out in the open, made to conquer what was deemed inaccessible, made to protect our beautiful but melting glaciers. We take meaningful actions to preserve these natural wonders for the generations to come. Whether it be the exhilaration, the pleasure of a picturesque hike, or the appreciation of riding down a steep face, these experiences deepen connections to ourselves, others, and the natural world. Join us to create a world moved by mountains.
With these amazing pictures, we want to welcome you to the Mammut Climbing Talk. My name is Remo. I'm from the climbing magazine La Crux, and together with Dominik, we're hosting the YouTube channel Actiontalk TV and guide you through the show today.
Welcome also from my side. Thanks for the introduction, Remo. It's a pleasure to be here at the headquarters of Mammut in Seon, Switzerland. Remo and me, we had the opportunity to spend the whole day here at the factory, talking to the employees, getting some views behind the scenes, and I would say climbing is all around here.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see like the vibes here. People are not just producing products for climbing, they're climbers themselves, they use them themselves. This is also why they launched the Mammut Climbing series. It's a talk series where we invite guests to this show. It's divided in two sections. In the first part, Dominik and we're going to ask the guest questions. We chat with him, do an interview. And in the second part of the show, you guys got the chance, the audience out there, to ask the questions to the guest.
So get ready, type your questions, and we'll come back to them in the second part of the show.
Before we welcome the guest of today, none other than Jakob Schubert, Austrian powerhouse, we prepared a video that we want to show you right now.
I love sports, and I think climbing is probably the best sport out there. It's just so diverse and never gets boring. I have many dreams and goals if it comes down to climbing. I want to achieve more in competitions. I want to be Olympic champion. I want to climb even harder routes, even harder boulders. If you are a professional athlete, I think ups and downs are part of the game. Often the really difficult competitions, the bad results are actually what you learn from the most and help you to get to the ups in the future. Climbing is not just my hobby, I mean it's my profession, but also it's just what I love doing most, and I don't think I will ever stop doing it.
So here you are. Welcome, Jakob, to Switzerland, to the headquarters of Mammut.
Thank you, Remo. Hi, Dominik.
Hi, nice to have you here.
Jakob, you're among the strongest climbers in the world. You're 3 times world champion, 7 times overall World Cup winner. You're going to represent your country at the Summer Olympics in Tokyo. If you think back, did you ever imagine reaching so many goals and climbing all that things that you did?
Well, no, obviously not. I mean, it came faster than I thought. Now I'm already kind of one of the old guns in the World Cup, but I started young, obviously, and I reached those achievements step by step. I started in European Youth Cups, got my first podium there, my first win then Youth World Championships, then World Cups, then World Championships, and now I have the next big goal, which is the Olympics.
In the video, you explained that you somehow found the passion in climbing, but you were also doing other sports. So how did you discover that passion?
Yeah, actually, when I was young, I started playing football or soccer or however you want to call it. I was always a sports enthusiast, that's for sure. Like I really liked to do a lot of sports when I was a kid. And yeah, first thing I did was playing football. When I was 6, I started in a local club in Innsbruck. And actually, quite randomly, I got introduced to climbing by my godfather in the climbing gym in Innsbruck just before turning 12. And yeah, I really enjoyed it right away. And for like half a year, I did both football and climbing. And then I decided climbing is, yeah, even better.
One and only. So, but how about today? Are you still playing soccer?
Yeah, definitely. I still enjoy a lot of other sports, and they are mostly sports that involve a ball. I don't know, they are fun as well. And yeah, in some way they have similarities with climbing. I mean, obviously it's very different to play with a ball than to climb on a wall. But what makes it similar to me is that climbing is such a diverse sport, and also in ball sports you feel like you do something new all the time. So that's what I enjoy most.
But still, it's kind of unusual. As far as I experience, Remo, I don't know how you feel it, but climbers usually are not the ones who do also ball sports. I mean, they can hardly catch a ball sometimes. You must be a multi-talent.
I don't know. I mean, it really depends. There are definitely a few climbers that play with balls pretty well. I mean, in ISO, we sometimes bring a football and we kick around and see whoever is the most skilled, like, sportsman, I would say.
Seriously?
And I mean, obviously just for fun, right? We always have time in ISO and we're like, yeah, playing around, killing time, and yeah.
Who else is good with balls?
My teammate, Nikolai, for example, Nikolai Usnik, he's a good football player. And yeah, I mean, it's just to have fun. But you're right that it's definitely not something very common for a climber to be good in a ball sport. Obviously, it's something really different, but I think ball sports in general, they're like special in terms of if you really did some ball sport a bit more when you were a kid, I think you feel comfortable with all ball sports already later on. And that's why, yeah, since I played soccer really early on, I enjoy it still.
But still, thinking back, you had those two sports and you decided to go full-on climbing. So how did that come that you decided, I want to go full-on climbing?
Well, I mean, obviously, as a kid, just before turning 12, it's not some, I don't know, wouldn't say it's like an impulsive decision. It was just like whatever I enjoyed more. And I remember that like there were two particular things that made me decide for climbing, and that was one, that in football, I didn't really enjoy the training that much. I remember I really enjoyed the matches on the weekend, but the training often didn't even involve a ball. It was like stretching and running around, and some of the exercises I didn't enjoy as much. And in climbing, I enjoyed every single minute of it, like whether it was training in the gym, climbing outside, or being at the competition. And the second thing was that I was just really lucky in what community I grew into. The climbing team in Innsbruck was just a very fun team to be around, and I was lucky that there were quite a few boys at my age that just started climbing when I started climbing, and we became best friends, and that's what made it so special, and I think also what helped me being successful.
So you decided to go for climbing, not for soccer, but you went even a step further, you became professional. Do you remember, was there a certain moment where you realized this is more than just for fun, I'm gonna be a professional maybe one day?
No, there was never a certain moment, and I mean, I would say it's still, I don't know, just for fun is maybe the wrong term, but it's still for fun, right? Making it a profession was never, that was more like a dream come true and not a certain goal, because climbing is the thing that I love doing most in life, and I think everyone would agree that the thing that you like to do most, having that as your profession, that's like a dream come true. So it was just like yeah, a way to get there. Basically, I achieved goal after goal, and because of that, I was able to make it my profession. But there was never a certain goal that just came by doing it.
But you said you had fun at the beginning, and you still have fun, a lot of fun now. But didn't it somehow change the way of how you climb, how you go outside, how you train? Because you're a professional climber, you have to deliver results.
I wouldn't say it changed that much. I mean, what definitely changed is that now I can actually focus everything and all my thoughts and many things on climbing. Maybe before there was also school or university or whatever, and because I was good enough to make it my profession, I'm now lucky enough that I earn my living with it, and I can actually just fully concentrate everything on climbing. But even before that, I mean, even when I was in school or university, climbing was always first priority for me. That's, I think, also what made me be successful. And school and university always went after. But I was also lucky enough that it wasn't too hard for me to get through school or university, so I was actually able to do that. But
talking about university, you also did a bachelor degree in economics. Is there also a hidden businessman inside you?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it was an interesting study, I think. I remember what made me decide to study economics was actually I really enjoyed mathematics and also physics in school, but I thought that those studies are just would take too much time off my hands, and they would be too hard to actually do to still be able to fully focus on climbing. So I thought economics still has some maths in it and might be a bit easier than the other two, and that was actually true. And I enjoyed the studies, but now I don't think I will ever end up in some normal economics job, or at least I hope not, because I just want to climb.
We won't see you as a Swiss banker one day.
I don't think so, no.
Before we came here, I asked a friend of mine who's a professional climber if he has a question, he would ask you, because he's a professional climber as well. And he said, well, he would be interested in hearing from you. How do you structure your life? How do you make sure you get up early and you don't sleep in all day and play PlayStation or so? How do you get the structure in your life?
Well, it's not that difficult. I mean, like we were just talking, climbing is my profession, and I really appreciate that it's my profession. But I definitely also take it serious, and I'm thankful towards, I don't know, but I'm thankful that I was able to make it my profession. But now I definitely want to do everything I can to fulfill my goals and, make my fans proud, basically. But I'm still a very, very ambitious person. I still have many goals, and with a lot of experience, I know what it takes to reach those goals. I know that my opponents are not sleeping. They are not sleeping in. They are not partying or whatever. They're training hard, and if I want to have a chance on beating them on the competitions, or if I want to climb as hard as them on the rock, I have to work hard. And it's not that difficult to do because I enjoy it so much.
But still, it takes a lot of self-discipline, I guess, because you don't have like a boss who kicks you in the ass sometimes, or do you have that?
I don't have that. I mean, obviously we have national coaches, and they wouldn't be too happy if I would just like party every night and don't show up to trainings. And I would definitely would end up in an argument with them. But I wouldn't say I have like a boss that would like actually kick me and say, "What the hell are you doing?" In the end, you're like responsible for yourselves as a sportsman, especially in a sport like this, other than in a team sport. But I think, I mean, I've been an athlete for a very long time, and you definitely learn that self-discipline, and it's something really important, learning that as a sportsman. And I think that's also why, like, some people that used to be sportsmen end up being quite successful also in, like,
businessman.
As businessmen, it's true. They know how to work hard.
You mentioned that you have ambitious goals outside, climbing outside, and inside, like indoor climbing. What do you actually prefer?
Well, if I had to choose one, it would definitely be outside climbing. But I would be lying if I would say I only enjoy outside climbing and I really don't like climbing in the gym. I think if you want to be a successful competition climber, you definitely also have to enjoy the climbing inside. And I definitely do enjoy like a hard training inside where you really sweat and just have a good session with your friends. But yeah, obviously some great days outside with friends, experiencing like not even just the climbing, but seeing a new place, being outside in nature is definitely something very special.
On a regular basis, you come up with really, really impressive tick lists. You go on a climbing trip, you climb like several routes, hard routes in just a little amount of time. We'll have a look on that later. Just let me mention an example. For example, last year you went to Magic Wood for 2 days. You sent 3 8A boulders, 2 times 8A plus, 3 times 8B plus. Let's have a look. Etwa.
Nice.
So that's what it looks like when Jakob Schubert comes to Magic Wood for 2 days. I think you did a total of 8 or 9 super hard boulders in just 2 days. How do you feel after a weekend like that, mentally and physically?
Yeah, obviously you feel amazing. Actually, at first you don't even feel that tired because all the adrenaline is still in your body and you're just like so psyched. And I mean, we are all climbers, right? We all know we love to reach tops, and that weekend I reached a lot of tops. So I was just like super psyched, pumped, and actually, yeah, kind of sad to go back because I was ready to maybe even stay a few more days and climb even more.
With the same pace, no?
No, I mean, obviously, I think once you're like next morning, the adrenaline will be gone and you feel sore, and you probably then feel sad you didn't go back home because you need a few rest days. But in that moment, in the heat of the moment, you just want to climb more and more because it feels so good.
I mean, it's really impressive to see tick lists like this, and I barely can imagine it. But do you specifically train to a trip like this, like if you would prepare for a competition or so?
No, not really specifically. I mean, it depends. Like on if I travel to like a very certain project, like for example, Perfecto Mundo, where I already kind of know what's ahead of me. I only focus on that route. Then maybe I train like a bit in a certain way to be prepared for that route. But like a short trip to Magic Wood, for example, I don't really train for it. It's more like I'm actually already training really hard for a competition. That's why I'm already in a really good shape. And I get like a lot of confidence going outside. Actually, it's really refreshing because you maybe have spent like a few weeks in the gym. You feel kind of tired of the gym. You go outside. You get like, although that success obviously tells you did a good job in training, so that feels good. All in all.
In order to get this many tops in just a little amount of time, you have to be fast. And I think you did most of these boulders in Magic Wood flash. Do you always go for flash attempts?
Not always. I think it depends. It's really it really depends on the situation. Like sometimes you have someone with you that like is just trying the boulder, or maybe he already knows the boulder and that's why he can give you beta. But at the same time, you don't want to be the guy that always like asks everyone for beta, waits out like until all your friends checked out everything and then is ready for the flash, you know, like. I don't know, it depends on the situation. Sometimes there's just a boulder that feels good to try, and sometimes you just want to like, you don't want to have that pressure, and you just try a boulder. But for example, for Never Ending Story, I actually had the goal to because I knew it was a long boulder, so it doesn't have like a really hard crux move. It fits my style because it's longer. It's a very legendary boulder, so I already said before the trip, at least I want to give it a shot. I want to take it serious, and I want to try to flash it. So I set myself like sometimes this certain goal on some certain boulders.
You said I don't want to ask too many friends about the beta, the information about the boulder, and let them check it out. But you could just simply check it on YouTube and watch all the videos.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously, if you have boulders where you have that, then you can do that. I mean, in Switzerland, for example, I usually don't have data, so then I can't do that. Then I would have to do that in advance. But yeah, obviously, like nowadays, it's so much easier to flash boulders or even do boulders really quickly, like especially harder ones, because you can't imagine how much time it saves if you watch the video of someone doing the perfect beta. So it's much easier nowadays with videos and everything to flash boulders, or at least do them much faster.
In the last few years, I have the impression that many boulders, especially in bouldering, are getting downgraded. Also like boulders that exist for many years. Do you think that it has to do with the video thing? Because even myself, I check the videos, so I don't have to invest so much time. So it feels like easier because of that. Do you think it has an influence on the grading?
I mean, it could have an influence, because obviously something gives you the feeling, or at least it felt kind of, or it feels harder if you had to invest like a lot of time to send something, I would say. And because of videos and like people giving you beta and stuff, it's often much easier to do something much quicker. But in the end, I have to say that that would be the correct grade, I would say, right? Because let's say if you invest like a lot of time in a boulder, and for, I don't know, like you tried it for a week, and for a week you had terrible beta, and then after a week you finally find the right beta, and you do it like right away. That week where you had terrible beta, you can't really count for grading it.
It seems like if I see your videos, you usually like take away all those boulders and roots, but in one video we saw that you really had to struggle a bit in Perfecto Mundo in Margalef, Spain. What kind of process did you experience there?
Well, actually, it went much better than expected at first. I was going there for, I think, 3-week trip, and I wasn't sure if I could send a route like this, a route graded 9B+ in just 3 weeks. But after like the first few sessions, I realized that I did really well on the route. I could do all the moves really quickly, and I think after like a week, or roughly a week, I already decided to do goes, and that's when I was thinking, okay, I should definitely be able to send this route on this trip. But then I started to struggle with my endurance, and it was quite a fight to actually end up sending the route on the trip.
Let's have a look into the struggle. I suggest we take some looks into Perfecto Mundo.
Wie soll mich so schwach tun? Wieso bunt, wieso brutal, es gibt's ja nicht.
I guess I got as close as you can get. I passed the crux again. Felt really good actually. I stuck the move that was my high point so far, but then all of a sudden got so pumped and fell on this last move to a better hold where I could rest a little more again. Really disappointed right now. I really thought this is the go. I felt like I actually got it, and I know that Alex and Stefano never even closely fell that high. Once they pass the crux, they send it. That's frustrating, but I feel like it should really go this trip. I have a few more days, I think 3 climbing days left, so really not a lot. Tomorrow, and then 1 rest day and 2 more. So yeah, the pressure is getting higher.
Yeah, why am I so weak up there? That's your words, Jakob, in the upper part of the route. Well, I guess because it's just still super hard up there.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy, unfortunately. But still, I remember when I was working the route, also before that, I already talked to Stefano and Alex, the two guys that previously have done the route, and they told me, yeah, once they passed the crux, the mono crux, they sent the route right away, quite easily, no problem. And I really hope it will be the same case for me, but actually it was really different for me. I think for me it was much easier to get over the crux because I really liked the crux move. But then it took me quite a few tries to actually reach the top, and I did get higher and higher, but I also got more frustrated that I would just get so pumped on that upper part. And yeah, luckily I was still able to send it on, I think, my second to last day of the trip.
So what kind of a mental battle is this? Well, you know, you get the key section, you over the key section, and still you fall in the upper part of the route. You get kind of desperate, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, especially it's a quite long route, so you're on the rope or on the route for quite a long time. So you have to be really focused for the whole try. And for the first times when you get over the crux, it's easier because it's really normal for you to focus really hard. But once you have done it over and over again, it gets harder to actually remember to stay fully focused. And it's actually even more important on the later tries because I knew that I had to somehow climb even more efficient, maybe rest longer or less and a bit better because I somehow have to be less pumped up there to be able to reach the top.
Did you follow also Adam Ondra last year, I think, when he tried Perfecto Mundo?
Yeah, sure. Followed it a bit.
So for him, it's also kind of a struggle. What did you think when you saw these videos from him?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say, but I mean, obviously he had some fights with conditions as well. It's always important that you have good conditions. I think he had it like a bit different than me. For me, it was when I came, the conditions were kind of bad when I was working on the route for the first few days. But then when I started doing tries, the conditions were pretty good. And for him, it was, I think, the other way around. He started working the route on really good conditions, and then they got worse when he did tries. So I think you don't really want that. And at the same time, yeah, I think tactics really matter if you want to do a really hard route like that. Sometimes it's smarter or better if you just take your time, right? But at the same time, I know, for example, Adam, he's just as ambitious as I am, right? He wants to reach his goals. And for him, doing a 9B plus is not as big of a goal anymore since he has done 9C. So I would imagine for him, it's doing a 9B plus in a few tries or maybe in a few days. And if you have that goal, you will have to try completely different than if your goal is just to do the route. If it was like, I didn't care if I did it in my last day of the 3-week trip or whenever. So I would really take my time on the first tries, like not even try too much, really care for the skin. If you have the goal of doing it maybe in a few days, obviously you have to try a lot more in the beginning. Maybe you damage your skin a lot more, and then all of a sudden everything can go downhill. So yeah.
Talking about Adam Ondra and the grade of 9C, there is a 9C you even tried out. It was bibliography in Zeus. Back then we made an interview with you on Actiontalk TV. We asked you about your sessions in the route. Let's listen quickly to what you said back then.
I'm really happy that I could do all the moves on it. So that was actually kind of surprising. I thought in the 9C I might have to work on the moves a lot more, but the moves were okay, I would say. One move at the very end is still something I'm struggling with, but I could do it one time. How it is when you connect the moves together, that's obviously a different game, but I'm psyched to return at some point and try it a lot more.
So you could do all the moves in bibliography. Now a general question, would you say once you are able to do all the single moves of a route, it's just a matter of time until you can link them?
Yeah, I think every climber likes to think that. Obviously it depends. If it was like a 200-meter route and every single try of the 200-meter route is like completely your limit, I don't think you're ever gonna send the route, but usually on like projects like this, I would almost agree. But then it's also the question: are you like ready to invest that time? Because it could be a lot of time.
And what about bibliography? When are you going back to Zeus?
Yeah, it's definitely on top of my goal list. I really want to try it one day. I mean, there are not that many 9Cs out there yet, and that would be the next step for me, grading-wise, and not just the grade, but I think the route is really amazing, and we all know the crack is amazing. Zeus is one of the best places out there. So yeah, this year my main goal is the Olympics, of course, so I think I won't have time for Zeus, but next year I really want to return.
Olympics, that's a good keyword. Time is running, just a few weeks. It's going to be time to perform for you. Are you ready for the Olympics?
Oh yeah, I think so, yeah.
In an interview in Salt Lake City, you said, man, I have to become a bit stronger to beat the best. What will you do now to get stronger, even stronger, we have to say?
I think I probably said that about lead, because that was actually the reason why I did only the first Salt Lake City comp and returned to switch to my lead training, which is usually, now is the period of time for me to invest most of my time in lead training. And yeah, we all know Alex and also Adam, they're gonna be at the Olympics as well. So I try to climb a lot of lead right now to also have a chance against those two machines in Tokyo. I think in bouldering, I already feel quite good. I was really happy with my performance in Salt Lake City with a 3rd place, especially because the wall was also really slabby, which will be also in Tokyo, that type of climbing, I think. And yeah, I mean, in the end, bouldering is always a little bit of a gamble, and it just, yeah, depends on who has a good run at the Olympics. But lead is the thing where it's mostly about fitness, and yeah, right now I try to gain that fitness.
What about speed?
Yeah, speed is obviously my big weakness. I'm not too happy with speed. I definitely invested a lot of time over the last 1 and also 2 years, but now I feel like at a point where it's really hard for me to get much faster. So I definitely, it's more important for me to do really well in lead and in boulder, and speed is more of the discipline where I try not to get lost, basically. But since combined is like a multiplication of results, I think it's also more important to focus on your main disciplines, because in the end it really depends if you can get that one or if you can get maybe 2 podium places in 2 disciplines rather than being mediocre in 3.
Yeah, so I think time's already up, but let's mention also Reach Your Peak. Remo, you know more.
It's a campaign that Mammut's going to launch tomorrow, and you are part of the campaign. We quickly watch a trailer about the campaign that Mammut launches tomorrow. Dominik, you're a funny guy, telling I know more about the campaign. Jakob is the face of the campaign, you're part of the campaign, so can you please explain us more about it?
Yeah, Reach Your Peak is a very cool campaign by Mammut. Whether you have a summit you want to reach or a certain climbing project that you really want to fulfill, anyone can apply basically, and Mammut would support you on reaching that dream. But yeah, I don't want to tell on everything. More details will be tomorrow when the campaign actually starts.
Okay, so not all the details about the campaign. Another thing we ask you to prepare and to reveal kind of a secret, I don't know, is we asked you, can you please show us what do you bring to the crag if you go climbing? What do you pack in your backpack?
Yeah, I did bring my backpack to show you guys. So here's my rope bag with 9mm thick 80-meter rope. Comes in handy when you want to try something long like Perfecto Mundo, long enough. And yeah, here's my backpack with crack sender helmet, sender harness. Yeah, this one is used quite a lot.
Is it used on Perfecto Mundo?
Yeah, this one is used on Perfecto Mundo.
Maybe we talk with each other after the show.
Yeah. Yeah. €1.
€1. Oh, that's a good deal.
Sender draws. Those are like the really light draws from Mammut. So if you want to do like an on-site go or something, come in handy. And those are like the heavier ones, workhorse draws for projects. Because yeah, they're a bit thicker, so it's nice to if you have to grab the quick draw, because unfortunately we have to do that sometimes as well. Here's the Smart, which is the belay device from Mammut. Hoppala. Yeah, I just leave it on.
Yep.
Oh yeah, my Theory climbing shoes.
You use them for outside climbing as well, or just indoors?
Those I haven't used outside so much, but I know some guys that love them outside as well. I mean, they're just really soft. So on some type of stone or on some climbs, I think they're really good. Usually I prefer the Solution or Solution Comp.
Okay.
Sender brush.
Comes with a stick as well, no? Like to reach the hole
Yeah,
on
exactly.
a boulder? Yeah, okay.
You can, like, yeah, for bouldering it's nice. I bring the stick sometimes. Cool. And yeah, I mean, even in the gym, they're nice.
Yeah, cool.
Then Sender liquid chalk. And yeah, my chalk bag. That's it.
That's it, no food.
No food.
No food at the crag.
Oh, no.
Do you
Never.
actually, do you have something special you bring to the crag to eat, like, you know?
No, I was kidding. Obviously, we have to bring food. I mean, on days like when you try Perfecto Mundo, we spend like the whole day at the crag.
You eat a lot then?
I mean, a lot, but we bring like bread and stuff to like have some food in between tries. Like usually I spend like the whole day at the crag, but I only do 3 tries. So there's like a lot of time in between the tries. And I mean, we're normal people. We get hungry, so yeah.
Talking about bringing things to the crag, you said one big thing at the moment is not going rock climbing outdoors. It's preparing for Tokyo. I once asked Adam Ondra in an interview, what do you bring to the Summer Olympics? And he said he's going to bring a fan, a ventilator. Is there something special you're going to bring to the Olympics?
Mask.
A mask, yeah. Yeah, actually, I don't think I bring something as special as Adam, or I haven't thought about it as much.
You have a lucky charm?
I mean, maybe I bring my Nintendo Switch, because probably we are not able to leave the hotel too much, so definitely have to do some gaming as well.
Cool, so I would say it's enough said just between us three. Let's open for the audience. We promised you we're gonna come back on your questions, and I see now we have one question, a first question on the screen by Charsha100. And the question is, discussion in the chat, when stuck in the sevens for a while, any tricks on how to reach the next level? Should I focus on improving my technique or strength?
Is it French grade? Or?
I guess like 7A maybe, yeah. Let's say
it's
7A.
funny because we could also interpret it in meaning it means 7 seconds in speed, and he's trying to going for 6 seconds. I don't think he means that or she means that, but it would be funny to interpret it that way, because then I couldn't really give tips, because it's really hard for me to reach 6 as well. Oh wait, now we have to go back again. Oh, yeah.
So anyway, any tips to
Any
to
tricks to
improve?
reach the
Technique or
next
strength?
level? Should I focus on improving my technique or strength?
I guess.
I think if you're, so we're saying sevens lead climbing, I guess. Yeah, I would definitely say it's still a lot of technique that you can climb better with. I mean, it also depends on what kind of climb you want to try, right? If you're in Spain and you try this 7A, like this steep, then obviously strength helps a lot. But if you just want to do any 7A, most 7As or even 7Bs or 7Cs can still be quite slabby, and you can do so much with technique and finger power.
So let's go over to the next question. With all the three disciplines being tested at the Olympics, which one are you most and least looking forward to?
I guess we heard that, huh?
We already heard that question more or less. You don't like speed that much, right?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I don't like speed. I enjoy the discipline, or I enjoy training the discipline. Obviously, it wouldn't be my first choice if I had to choose just one discipline. I enjoy it. I'm just not that fast in it. So yeah, it's my weakness. My strength is definitely lead climbing. So I definitely look forward to the lead discipline, but I still really enjoy bouldering. But bouldering really depends on the round that is set. Like sometimes the boulders are just not as fun as other times. So yeah, we will see. But I look forward to the bouldering round, I would say. And yeah, no, I look forward to all the rounds. But yeah, probably mostly bouldering and least speed.
Okay, so next question, that's a fun one from Krustikon. Have you done much in the UK?
I wouldn't say I've done that much, but I've been to the UK. Unfortunately, I haven't been sport climbing that much. That's something I really want to do more in the UK. I've been to competitions. I've climbed a bit on the grid. So I've done my first trad experiences in the UK, and I definitely want to get more of that as well. And I've done some bouldering as well. But yeah, haven't been there enough, and definitely want to go back.
Another question from Jens Plinzler. Have you heard the critic from white boys regarding cracks in competitions, and what is your response?
I've seen a video from the white boys where they were talking about the crack in Meiringen, and I even commented on their YouTube video if that video was meant. But I would say, like, right now, like, it seems like there's kind of a trend and they want to set like more cracks in competitions, and I definitely think it has a place at competitions. But at the same time, sometimes there are just certain trends in route setting, and I feel that's kind of like weird. Like I remember when like every round we would have a run and jump, and now it feels like every round there's kind of like a crack. I think it should definitely have a place and it should be there sometimes. But now maybe it's like kind of a weird trend where they push it almost too much. But yeah, I think it should definitely be there. And obviously it's something that's part of climbing, so it should be at comps as well. But yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah.
Next one comes from David Arbinger. Is there a hard route that you like that much you would like to repeat it? Or is it just like, I did it and now I will never touch that hold again? I guess it's meant that you already did the route and repeat it again.
Yeah. There are definitely routes or boulders that I would repeat or do again. I mean, when I had a fun experience on it, or like especially, I mean, it's mostly with boulders or routes that aren't like completely up on your limit, right? Like routes that you're like just do again. I remember I was in Hueco Tanks, and then I returned like I think 2 or 3 years later, and I just, because I went with like other friends that weren't there back then, or it was their first trip, obviously they wanted to try all the classics that I did back then, so I just did them again with them because they're really cool and really fun to climb. And actually also the second time they were like really amazing, because often I wouldn't even remember the beta from back then. So yes, I would definitely repeat things, but like things like Perfecto Mundo, would I repeat it? Maybe, but I probably would rather invest all that time on repeating it again in like a route like bibliography.
The next question is from Richard Habersam, favorite crag in Austria? Do you have any projects in your home country?
Yeah, there are quite a few projects. Favorite crag? That's a difficult one because we have quite a lot of good ones. But I think if I had to choose one, I would say Schleier Wasserfall. It's like a really good wall. Because Zillertal and Ötztal, though, I wouldn't really call a crag because they have like several cracks, several good ones. Schleier Wasserfall is just one really big crag, and you have like a lot of amazing routes. So I would choose that one. And yes, there are quite a few projects I have left. One in Zillertal is something that I'm really looking forward to try. It's unfortunately kind of difficult to try right now because it's still now is getting the time where we can try it, because before it's dangerous because of avalanches to get there. But yeah, there's a good project in Zillertal.
Amit Harnik has a next question, and he wants to know how much do you think the boulder simulations helped you? What's the boulder simulations?
I have a video on YouTube about our selection competition. We simulate a competition basically, and yeah, they definitely help a lot when you're preparing for competitions. Like just now before Salt Lake, our team basically had every week one bouldering simulation where some setters came and set like 4 boulders for us, and we were simulating a competition. It really helps you with the tactics, like how many tries can I do in 5 minutes, how do I recover in between the 5 minutes, and also like getting in that mindset of reading a boulder. Like bouldering competitions are just really different to just go and boulder with your friends basically. Other than lead and speed, I think lead and speed, they're a lot more like what you just do in training, but bouldering competitions, because nowadays it's so often that the boulders are maybe not even that hard, but really hard to actually find the right beta. And if you don't find the right beta, they're impossible or something like that. So getting into that mindset of like reading the boulder or actually switching beta and stuff like that is something you really need to train. And that's where the simulations come in very handy.
Speaking of beta, before the competition starts, every competitors together, they discuss the boulders. How much information do you share there together?
Well, that's just in finals. In semifinals and qualifications, it's on site and there is no observation. So just in finals, you have the observation. But I think most of the climbers, and including myself, or maybe even all the climbers, basically share everything they actually think. I mean, we're all good friends, first of all, and also everyone believes in themselves, basically, and we all think, or I think we all like to think, everyone should have the best beta and strongest should win, basically. So we just share everything, and then the one who wins with the best beta deserves it because he was just the strongest.
But it's actually something pretty nice, no? Don't you think that it's not the same in other sports, no? That you share like information about an important thing you want to reach, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, our community is definitely very, very nice. I think we're all good friends. I think it's also because climbing is not only happening in competitions, right? We're also meeting each other at cracks outside, having fun there. And I don't know, we all grew up, I think that with climbing not being something. You don't climb against someone, you climb against a boulder or a route. That's what you learn as a kid already when you're going climbing with your friends, right? You try to work together to be able to send the route or the boulder. You share beta, you try together, and you're like, oh, I found that trick. And that's how we all grew up, and that's how we love our sport, and that's why we do the same thing at competitions, I think.
Mm-hmm. So let's get back to the audience. Yves Sola wants to know, what was the biggest break from climbing you had to take? I guess because of injury, maybe.
Yeah, because one bigger break was also actually last year because of the lockdown. I mean, I was still training, obviously, on a hangboard and stuff, but I was still, I think, for like a month, I wasn't able to actually climb because we were locked down in our houses. But other than that, I never really did a huge break, I think when I was younger, like maybe 14, I broke my arm once. Or no, even with 16 or 17, I broke it again. So I broke my arm twice.
Okay.
And I think that were like 1.5 month break or something. And the worst injury I had within climbing was my A4 pulley here when I was flashing. Nagual 8B boulder in Hueco tanks. I ripped my pulley, and the climbing break is not too long. It was like 3-week break, but it takes a lot of time to actually fully recover. You can start climbing again, but it's a lot of pain, and you can't fully climb for like quite a while. So that was probably my worst injury.
I'm sure that breaking your arm twice happened when you played soccer.
No, that was actually snowboarding.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We have another question from Sean Milner. What is your approach to training? General strength, finger strength, stamina, flexibility?
I mean, obviously you want all of that. I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, that's also what makes climbing so interesting. And even like after so many years training and climbing, I feel like there's still so much to learn for me. Obviously, nowadays, I don't think I can get that much stronger than I used to be, like physically. So I still always have to work hard to actually reach the physical ability that I had maybe the year before. Same goes for stamina or finger power. But the things where I can still improve are like, just being a smarter climber, which is, mentally, but also there's a lot of tactics, like where do you clip, how do you rest, how long do you rest? Like there are so many things. When do you climb faster, when do you climb slower? Many different things. But I would say I try to train all of that.
Do you have a mental coach?
No, I don't have a mental coach. I know quite a few athletes that have that, but I never felt like I have to invest a lot of time in that because it's already a strength of mine. I mean, I think it's important that you often obviously invest some time in your weaknesses. Like, for example, I might not invest that much time into finger power anymore because it's something that once you gained a lot of it, you don't really lose it that fast. And I feel it's one of my strengths, so I don't have to invest as much time in finger power than maybe in strength or things that you always lose, stamina, for example.
Next question comes from Steph. He wants to know, do you have a simulation of the last part of Perfecto Mundo or another crux in that route?
No, I don't.
You never did?
No, I didn't. When I was traveling to Perfecto Mundo, all I did was like obviously try to hang on pockets, sometimes a little bit, monos and pockets, but not even that much. Mostly I was just trying to get some endurance, and I was training like 30 or 40 move boulders, trying to get strong. What was really helpful for me was that the year before I went to Perfecto Mundo, I was trying elbow combat, and I traveled to Perfecto Mundo for just one day, tried it just to see how it is, because I knew maybe there could be a future project, and already felt the holds, knew that I already like it a lot, and kind of knew what was in front of me. And Perfecto Mundo is actually not as much pocket strength as you would expect, because it's really steep, so the holds are not that bad. So it's a lot about actual strength and endurance, I think.
We all know Alexander Megos, he eats a lot of carrots, and Adam Ondra eats insects. So the next question from Kasper Kushuyon is perfect for that. What is your secret power source, your diet?
Well, I don't have like a diet or like a schedule of what I eat or whatever. I mean, obviously, as a professional sportsman, I think you try to care a bit about what you're eating. I'm not going to McDonald's every night or something like that.
But sometimes.
Almost never, but maybe like, I don't know, a few times in the year, like on the way back from a long trip, stop at some gas station, there's a McDonald's, why not? No, but usually, obviously, I try to eat healthy, but I try to eat different food. I really like pasta, so in between trainings or like just for a quick lunch after training, I really like to eat pasta. And then at night, I try to get some proteins in.
A big question for me, we already almost mentioned it, was eating during a day at the crag. I mean, do you eat like meat and bread, or just something slight, or almost nothing? Or
it really depends. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, like most of us, or at least I don't take it like too serious or too strict. So it just depends whatever we're bringing. But usually when we're in Spain, I mean, they have really good bread, they have really good salami, they have good cheese. So we just bring a lot of bread, a lot of salami, some olives, and just have some snacks in between tries. Because when you spend the whole day at the crag, you do only a few tries. There is a lot of time, and we definitely snack in between.
So I think this was it from your questions. Did you miss any question?
Did I miss any question? I mean, I got asked a lot. I could ask you guys something now.
Feel free.
feel free.
Okay, how old are you?
What do you think?
Okay, that's a tough one in front of the camera.
Do it.
Okay, I would say...
You can almost not see my gray hair in the camera.
38.
Whoa, that's close. 39, actually.
Okay, not bad, huh?
What do you think? How old is he?
34.
32.
Hey, you're
Not bad.
good. You're good. Next one, or from the audience? No, we don't want to steal you the show. Well, Jakob, thanks a lot for being here. It was really a pleasure to talk to you, to chat with you, to get to know you better. We got a little present for you. It's a little chin bag and a brush from our magazine and channel. And for the people out
Thank
there,
you very much.
Please subscribe to the channel, Mammut channel, and give us a thumbs up if you like the show. Thanks again, Jakob, for being here.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure, and thanks for the questions.
Sehr gut.